Winter Cup Day 62. Today is leg day. It's actually become probably my favorite workout day, which is a little weird. But I think it's just because I have it like pretty much dialed in the most out of any lift. I just feel like leg day comes very easy in the sense of to figure out what I needed to do for training on leg day. It was just extremely easy for me. I kind of learned how to manage my fatigue very easily. And I think it's because everything on leg day is so much more fatiguing than like other upper body days. So it's kind of easier to see kind of what really destroys me, what makes me, what I think might give me the best stimulus. And yeah, pretty simple stuff. Whereas like chest day, you can't really tell what's super fatiguing and what's not just from going by feel. So you kind of have to just know kind of, all right, here's my set of principles. My set of principles says that motor unit recruitment is lessened whenever there are more muscles at play, whether it's, your back stabilizing in something or core or whatever. And so when those muscles are stabilizing more, it takes away from the activation of the target tissue. All right, not to get all nerdy on you, but it's true. So I have to look out for things like dumbbell press and say, well, yes, it works really well. It's a time-proven exercise. It's fantastic. But motor unit recruitment isn't as high as it otherwise could be on a Smith machine. So take with that what you will. But I do tend to make my exercises extremely stable because I just enjoy them. Some people might literally enjoy more unstable things. That's totally fine. It'll probably work better for you if you enjoy it anyway. But yeah, I mean, on leg day, I pretty much love everything I do. I thought about adding in like back extensions or some kind of erector work today, like RDLs, but then I was like, nah, that's too much for my back. I know me, My back does not like doing too much spinal loading on a given day, and leg day would be the day where it happens most if I added in RDLs. So I think personally though, if it comes down to it, RDLs versus stiff leg deadlifts, right? A lot of people don't even know the difference. RDLs are more of a glute movement. Stiff leg deadlifts are more of a hamstring movement, and the only difference really between the two is with the stiff leg deadlift, you're pretty much almost locking out your knees, if not locking out your knees, if you're really skilled. And with the Romanian deadlift, your knees are pretty bent still. And you're just kind of acting about your hips while your knees are bent. So, yeah. I do like stiff leg deadlifts in terms of hamstring development. But definitely RDLs for glutes. But the thing is, I never did RDLs. Anyway, let's just take this creatine. I am a coffee person, so I enjoy all kinds of coffee. Just for the flavor, man. I mean, I even enjoy black coffee a fair amount. I mean, it does kind of taste like terrible sometimes, but, So I'm thinking today we're going to start off with calf raises like usual. And I want to try to make sure I don't want to say reintroduce the stretch, but here, this is like out of the groove. But I want to make sure that I'm still getting a really crazy deep stretch to the point where I do feel a sensation, okay? Maybe that is just bro science, but I feel as though the sensation of stretch can help, it can help you to figure out how much of a stretch you're actually getting on the target muscle, right? Like if I never feel the sensation of a stretch when I'm doing bench, then something's probably a little bit off about my range of motion. I'm probably cutting it short. So same thing goes for calves. Like I can go pretty deep into, what is it? I could go pretty deep into dorsiflexion and not have any stretch feeling whatsoever. It's only in those last few degrees of the range of motion where I feel tremendous stretch. So I want to try to see if maybe I can adjust the seat somehow, make it like a little different so I can put my knees up higher and then have the line of force. I mean, you guys, that's a whole other topic. But whenever you're on a machine enough, when you're on it very consistently, it can get very finicky, and you can try to like perfect the technique in every way imaginable, even in like the smallest ways. So for a while I was doing seated calf raises with a straight leg, okay, but now I'm doing it with a slightly bent leg, slightly bent, like that much. And I think it's better. So after that, we're going to do another seated calf raise variation where your legs are totally bent. It targets the soleus. If you ever wonder why people do two different variations, it's because one targets the gastrocnemius primarily, and then one targets the soleus primarily. And the soleus is underneath the gastrocnemius, and it looks pretty cool too, so definitely train it. But then we move on to hamstring curls. I think I might want to increase my volume there or something, I don't know. Just because lately I've just been feeling like there hasn't been much going on in terms of hamstring development. Now I am on a cut, so I'm not really I don't feel too bad about that, but still, you know, I want to make sure something's happening. So I think what I might do is add more sets maybe. And then after that, we're going to do leg extensions, same deal, single leg, and then hack squats, and that'll probably be it for leg day. I mean, we should also do abs and whatnot, but yeah. So I'm going to make this coffee, and I'll see what I have in terms of food. I think I'm going to have like honey, a couple spoonfuls of that, nothing too crazy. Get some carbs in, and then have some salt. All right, take care. All right, calf raises, you know the deal. Same thing as always. I like to be consistent. And, you know, I'll say this too. If there's any actual mechanism behind changing an exercise, I don't know what it is. I've always heard people say, oh, whenever their gains dry up from this, switch to that. And it's like, you're still targeting the same muscle, right? Whenever I'm doing incline dumbbell bench versus incline Smith machine, still targeting the same muscle. Why would I not choose the one that I like better? Always. I don't know. Why would I switch to dumbbell or switch to Smith machine? On the contrary, why would I switch to begin with? There's no, in my opinion, there's no mechanism behind switching that would make it worth it, right? What stimulates the muscle is going to continue to stimulate the muscle. Target it just like anything else would, taking it through the range of motion under load. So, I don't know. I always hear people say, oh man, like, you're plateauing because you're not changing the exercise. And I used to fall for that. I would change my exercises probably too frequently for what these people were even saying. But still, I don't think changing the exercise is worth it. I've made greater gains from never changing exercises than I ever had whenever I was changing exercises very frequently. So, sticking to the same thing as much as I possibly can, being as consistent as I possibly can. That works like a charm, man. So, whew. max stack for like 1 rep or so. See how it feels. Move on to 405, which is literally just the stack, you know, the whole thing plus 25 pounds. You know what, I might even try to do more. I might just say screw it and go for like 4. I don't know, I might just smack on a 45. I think that's what we're gonna do today. Because, to be honest, this new form, I'm so much stronger at it. It's extremely loadable. So, we'll see what happens here. You know, I definitely believe in partials to an extent, but I also don't think that they should be completely abused in your training. I think out of any exercise type, I think the majority of the time, full range of motion is going to be superior to any partial range of motion. And that's just my opinion, but I mean, you could do whatever you want. And I'm not saying I don't do partials on this. This I treat as a complete partial. I don't attempt to do full range of motion because I don't believe that the contracted position is very efficacious for growth anyway. So I stick to the bottom portion. I've actually noticed measurable calf gains doing so. So, you know, that's, I'd say, probably the exception though. You know, most exercises I try to do full range of motion on. And what I mean by full range of motion isn't necessarily like a clean and jerk, right? Like all the way off the ground and up in the air. I'm talking about joints range of motion. So, for example, in an overhead press, I'd like to take my front delt, even though I know they don't have great leverage in the bottom portion of the lift, I still will go down there because I know it gives you a good stretch. There's probably some kind of stimulus to be had down there. So, you guys get what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm procrastinating this. Let's get 380. 380 for like 1 and move on. Up. Alright, this is a janky setup, but it should work just fine. That was pretty good. My calves got sore after 1 set of this last time. So, I wonder what 6 will do, you know? 6 being 3 of this and then 3 of the bent leg variation. But I'll tell you guys what. You know, I tweak my Achilles like mildly, very mildly, like every time I do these. And I'm not really sure why. I think it's, I figured it out one time and then I forgot. I like switched up the form. I think going wider helps if I'm not mistaken. But when I go closer, I feel like, especially the further out my knees go, the closer my feet are in, it kind of enhances the tweak potential. So if I try to keep my joints stacked and like stay out here fairly wide, I feel like that works a little better than the alternative. So. I'm going to keep this weight on and then do another set. Oh, I'll do one more set of this. I think I already said that before, but what's the harm in doing another one? Okay, all right. There's not that many reps. Let's drop it. I always tend to get 5 reps on this, but I want to try to get more today. A lot more. I really, really, really want more. Because when you're just stuck on a lift and you always get the same amount of reps, it can get kind of like, all right, bro, I get it. You know, same deal, 5 reps. And I get it, I'm on a cut, but I still want to progress. Especially considering my calves are such a new, or not new, but newly developing muscle. So, myo reps, let's go. Alright, I got 1, I'm cool with that. Actually, I think that was 5. That may have been 6, I'm not sure. But either way, it felt better than my typical sets. So, you know, with that said, looking forward to the next set a little bit. Bottom position, hang out there for a minute. Proving a point here. Come back up. Okay. Oh my gosh, that burned like crazy. Okay. Lots of slippage there, but we're done with that anyway, so let's move on. So, a little secret on leg extensions. Whenever I was really light, okay, and I say whenever I was really light, actually I'm very light right now. I still struggle with leg extensions, okay? Because there's an element of it that means you have to hold down your body. With that said, my body weight's very low, and I have to pull down super hard to the point where I'm literally almost unable to push with my legs comparatively to if I was heavier, right? Whenever I was bulk, the leg extensions were still much easier, right? But now, especially on the cut man, 155, right? I'm extremely light, and this stuff throws me around. So the substitute for that, right, is single leg extensions. These are a slight, I don't want to say small guy, these are a light guy's best friend. If you're extremely light, highly recommend these, because if you're used to getting tossed around, you'll basically effectively be twice the weight if you kind of look at it that way. Like me doing 150 on one leg is equal to me doing 300 with both. in a sense. If you're talking about pure, you get what I mean. You guys get what I'm saying. It's funny how when you expect your weight to be heavier and it's actually the lighter weight like that you were warming up with, it feels way lighter than it actually is. Like 120 felt heavy during warm-ups, but just now with me being hyped up, thinking that I had it on 150, it felt like nothing. Funny how that works. You know, I've talked about Alright. We'll stick to 120. I like this. I think I low-key might have went against my own rules here. Usually I always do better on the second set and kind of take advantage of that. Just because for whatever reason my warm-up sets don't seem to be super effective. So yeah, I kind of betrayed myself there because I could have potentially done better on the second set on 150, but instead I just lowered it to 120. Either way though, still got a lot of reps, still stimulating reps, still causative of gains, if it's even a word. So, hyper, super, ultra, mega anabolic. All right, I feel about ready. 3, 2, 1. We're done with that. I'm thinking I might incorporate a little lying hamstring curl. Who knows?
You remember that guy?
I'm a newbie. Never seen him in my life.
He reminds me of this one kid that I used to come to the gym with all the time.
I know, man. That kid used to lift like crazy.
Where do you say that? I don't know. He just reminds me of it.
That's way too heavy. All right. Okay, that's too far. This thing is hard to adjust. That was stupid. I had to adjust it like 100 times. Felt great though. 140. Get a great peak contraction. Let's go. Okay. I'm gonna do one more set. Now, I think you become a real, fully fledged gym bro whenever you can tell the difference between the motion of a leg extension and a hamstring curl. That's when you can tell the difference, because if you were just doing one like in the open air, kind of like air guitar, just like I know that that's a hamstring curl. But if you're going to try throwing your body back, that's a leg extension, right? Because that's just how force goes. Now, if you're extremely still with both and you just active out your knee, even then, I could tell where you're trying to hold the contraction. So, it's a little different there. But I can still tell. Alright, let's reduce the weight. Alright. I significantly reduced the weight for this next set that we're gonna do, because I'm gonna be honest, I did not expect to be that much weaker after allowing hamstring curls. So, and plus, I'm trying to lean forward variation again, because I do like the deep stretch it gives you. It's kind of like you're trading off stability for a better stretch, you know? We're gonna go really heavy still, but not as heavy as normal. Today I would have gone for a PR, but my low back feels a little bit funny,
So I lowered the weight to 4 plates, and still very heavy for me. But I want to try to get like 8 controlled ones, which would be a PR in itself. I've gotten, 15, 16 non-controlled reps, but that's not nearly as impressive as finding my depth, squatting as low as I possibly can, going right to the bottom. So
Got it. Come on. Down up. Let's go. Up.
Back at the house, and we've been back for a while, but I'm gonna have a protein shake and talk to you guys. So. So first off, the abs are definitely coming in more, okay? Not shredded yet. Anyway, reset. All right. I was posing for a while here in the kitchen. And I was like, man, I think this is cool lighting, like I was talking about earlier, and it looks good. And I realized that, anytime I pose anywhere else now, it's going to seem lacking by comparison in the lighting department, I'm just going to have, body dysmorphia for maybe a couple days or something. I don't know. That's just one thing, that if you always pose in really good lighting and then you take yourself out of it, you can be like, oh, did I get smaller? It's like, no, you didn't get smaller. You're just in bad lighting. So today was probably just under 1,800, if I had to guess. I don't count my calories, although I should. I just did for so long, I kind of have an idea of what things are. So, not to say that that's an excuse. I think, if I could sit here and write down something and it would just happen, I would write down, all right, I count my calories, and then I weigh out all my food, know what everything is. That would be a very ideal reality, but unfortunately, that's not the reality I'm living in. I gotta shake this actually before I open it. But yeah, counting calories and macros and all that stuff, it's not overkill. It's definitely a good thing. I just don't do it. I think, the things that I do, though, are, like, I eat mindfully, right? Like, obviously, I said I can kind of tell what things are, right? And so I'll count it up on my head at the end of the day, like, kind of a lazy man's calorie calculating, or counting, I guess. And I'll just be like, oh, I had scrambled eggs. That was probably 270 calories because I had 3. Then I had oil with it, or butter or whatever, and that was, 100 calories or 50 calories or whatever. So then I'd probably just call that 400. And that's the thing. On the cut, you want to severely over... I don't even want to say severely. If you're doing what I'm doing, in my opinion, counting calories in your head, you want to overestimate how many you're eating while you're on the cut. And then when you're on the bulk, you kind of want to underestimate, right? You get what I'm saying here? Now, don't take that too far, but take it to a reasonable depth, like me calling scrambled eggs with cooked in butter 400 calories. It's probably not close. It's probably like 320, 330 if you actually were to measure everything out. But calling it 400 just makes it easier, leaves more room for error, right? I had a Fit Crunch protein bar. I believe those are like 290 calories. I had 2 spoonfuls of honey today. That was probably over like 120 if I had to guess. Actually, I really don't know. I'm going to be honest. But there was a lot. And then for dinner I should have weighed out my chicken. I don't know what it was. But I had a lot of rotisserie chicken, like a crap ton. So, yeah. And like one other thing that I'm forgetting about. But it doesn't matter because we're still in a deficit for sure. I have a rough idea of what I ate, so really quick, admire the pump right now. That's crazy. I'm not even carved up. I didn't eat anything crazy. Just get a crazy pump. This protein shake is calling my name and I'm procrastinating. So I gotta down this thing. All right. Today was a fantastic leg day. I will see you guys tomorrow for some random BS cardio or something. Or maybe a walk. Or maybe just another protein shake talk. We'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed this leg day, and I hope you have a good one.